If you're trying to eat more protein and fiber, there's a good chance you're overlooking one of the cheapest sections of the grocery store. Beans give you both plus iron, folate, and magnesium, but they're not all the same. Some are better for protein, some are ridiculously versatile, and one has research linking it to better cholesterol numbers. So which beans actually deserve more space on your plate? And which one can you literally hide in a smoothie? Let's start with one of the easiest. Despite the name, black-eyed peas are legumes. They deliver a solid mix of protein, fiber, and iron. Their real strength, though, is how easy they are to use. You can throw them into soups and stews, but one of their best roles is in cowboy caviar, a cold mix of black-eyed peas, vegetables, herbs, and vinaigrette. That makes them useful when you want something filling without another heavy bowl of chili. You'll notice a pattern on this list. The healthiest bean isn't always the one with the most impressive number. It's often the one you'll actually eat on a regular basis. Kidney beans are the big, dark red ones that feel made for chili. Like most beans, they bring protein and fiber. There's also animal research suggesting they may influence gut bacteria and inflammatory markers that rise with a high-fat diet. That doesn't mean a scoop of kidney beans cancels out a cheeseburger. What it does mean is simple. They're an easy way to add more plant food, fiber, and substance to meals that might otherwise be mostly meat, cheese, or refined carbs. Use them in chili, three-bean salad, or even nachos. Pinto beans are the speckled ones that turn soft and creamy when cooked. They're a staple in Mexican and Southwestern cooking. All beans contain soluble fiber, but pinto beans have been studied specifically for cholesterol. In one trial, eating about half a cup of pinto beans a day was linked to lower total and LDL cholesterol. That makes them worth considering if you want beans to become a regular habit rather than an occasional side. And regular is the key word. A giant bowl once every few months matters far less than finding simple ways to use them again and again, in burritos, bowls, soups, or with rice. White beans, including cannellini and navy beans, are mild enough to disappear into foods where you wouldn't expect them. A half-cup serving can give you around 9 grams of protein. They're excellent in soups, salads, and pasta. But here's the unexpected move. You can blend them into a smoothie. Their flavor is mild enough that fruit can cover most of the taste, while the beans add thickness, protein, and fiber. Not ready for that? Start simpler. Blend them into a creamy soup or dip instead. The texture makes a lot more sense there. Edamame are immature soybeans, usually sold frozen in bright green pods. If protein is your priority, these stand out. Half a cup gives you roughly 9 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber. They're also one of the most convenient options on this list. Frozen edamame goes from freezer to plate in minutes. Add them to rice bowls, salads, noodles, or stir-fries. Or just eat them as a snack. One practical note, if they're still in the pod, you eat the beans inside, not the tough outer shell. Push them out with your fingers or teeth and leave the pod behind. Lentils are smaller than most beans here, and they cook into a texture that works surprisingly well as a ground meat substitute or extender. That alone makes them extremely useful. You can use them in tacos, pasta sauce, wraps, curries, and soups. They're also a solid source of plant-based iron, and unlike many dried beans, they usually don't need long soaking. That makes them one of the fastest and cheapest ways to turn a side dish into the main part of a meal. Chickpeas, or garbanzo beans, are the shapeshifters of this list. Mash them and you have the base for hummus. Roast or air fry them and they become a crunchy snack. Toss them into salads, grain bowls, curries, or roasted vegetables, and you've quietly added more fiber and plant protein. Regular chickpea and hummus eaters tend to get more fiber, folate, potassium, and iron overall. That doesn't prove the chickpeas cause the better diet, but it shows how easily they fit into one. Black beans are one of the strongest all-around options here. Half a cup gives you roughly 8 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber. You're not forced to choose between the two. Their dark color also comes with antioxidant compounds, but their biggest advantage is how easily they fit into almost anything. Tacos, burrito bowls, soups, salads, wraps, rice, salsa, even eggs. You can mix them with corn, peppers, tomatoes, avocado, and salsa, and suddenly have a side, a wrap filling, or a light meal. One important note about this ranking: you don't need to crown black beans the winner and demote everything else. The differences are more useful than the ranking itself. Want a high-protein freezer staple? Go with edamame. Want something that can replace part of the ground meat? Lentils. Want maximum versatility? Chickpeas. Want a creamy bean that disappears into soups, dips, or even smoothies? White beans. And if you already like pinto, kidney, or black-eyed peas, there's no reason to abandon them. The simplest way to eat more beans is also one of the cheapest: canned. Open the can, drain, rinse, and they're ready. So instead of asking, what is the single healthiest bean? Ask a better question. Which 2 or 3 beans would I actually eat every week? Because the healthiest option in the pantry does nothing while it sits there. The one that keeps showing up on your plate is the one that counts.